Ahoy, everyone, and welcome aboard the DCL show, where we're talking all things Disney Cruise Line. I'm your captain, Rhino, and setting sail with me are my co-captains, Elaine Edwards.
Hi, friends.
Chris Vorbeck.
Hello. I just noticed that I have, a friend sitting over my shoulder.
A sea witch.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
When we have Chloe Fiera.
Ahoy.
Hello. Thank you for joining me, everybody, here. I just want to remind everyone that this and everything that we do here is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They are experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney Cruise Line vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you can receive a shipboard credit of up to $1,000, as well as a cruise gift basket, and that is not exclusive to when you book a Disney cruise. It's not just for the Disney folks, so don't forget about that. Check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, for a free, no-obligation quote today. Today, we're going to be talking about how to select a stateroom, because I have no idea. I don't know anything about cruising very much, so I have no idea how I ended up in this seat on this show talking about it. In fact, I do, but that's a story for another day. But I thought maybe we could go over how you select, what the different types are and such. Do people have favorites? Does it matter? You know, inside, outside, veranda. What are all these words? What do they mean? Somebody start talking to me about it.
I will say selecting your stateroom is part art, part science. It's and you have to be involved. I can't just decide for you. People often part of it is budget as well, because there are essentially 4 different types of staterooms on a Disney ship. Inside the staterooms, which is pretty much what it means, no windows. And
no
then you have
doors.
Yeah,
sorry,
no windows.
wrong
No,
type of
I
room.
think they do give you a door, but they no windows. Ocean view staterooms, which gives you 1 portal usually, maybe 2. There are veranda, which is the cruise fancy word for a balcony, and then concierge, which is fancy.
Oh.
And so their pricing is different. In general, what I tell folks is front of ship, back of ship, less expensive, lower in ship, less expensive. As you get higher in the ship and more towards the midship, it's more expensive.
Why is the midship more expensive? Is that just like, does the ship shake more in the front and the back? Shake with the
Conventional
good Lord
wisdom
David?
is that there's less movement, and kind of I always tell people these are big ships. They're not bouncing around like a smaller ship would.
Yeah.
But generally, if you think of a teeter-totter, the least amount of movement is the center of the teeter-totter,
Gotcha.
right? And so people are trying to avoid
Those are the most
motion.
coveted rooms for that.
And
reason. Okay.
I would also say location-wise, too, of, different facilities and locales on the ship. Of if you're mid, then you're kind of
near everything.
You're near, yeah. Right. You don't have to go forward to aft and back again to get back to your room, or to go to Palo or what have you. So, yeah.
That's good to know. Okay, favorites? Do you have ones where you'd be like, no, don't settle for that? Or are you like, any room on a Disney cruise is good? Yeah.
Can we just explain one thing about deluxe and family, just so
Sure.
people understand the terminology? And then, so in addition to these things, you'll see deluxe inside, deluxe family.
Yeah, what does that mean?
That basically means for most Disney ships, they have what's called a split bathroom. So one bathroom has a shower and a sink. The other one has the toilet and a sink. It allows families to get double the amount of stuff done rather than somebody taking up the entire bathroom.
Okay, because my Alaska cruise, I was inside stateroom. I knew that because there was no windows. Was a door.
Right.
But the bathroom was one unit
So
too.
that's because it was a standard inside,
Mm.
and that's the only one on a Disney cruise that's going to have just the bathroom like that, unless you're in an accessible room. That's
gotcha.
the only one that's going to have the combined bathroom is standard inside. Everything else will have a split bathroom.
Okay.
The family ones are a little bit bigger. So if you get a deluxe family ocean view with veranda, you're going to have more space than you would on just a deluxe ocean view with veranda.
Gotcha.
So those terminologies, as you're looking at the different stateroom types, those are all the words that you're going to see that will help you.
I'm
And
going to be
things to
100%
know
honest with you guys.
as
I didn't know
well.
that. So,
A lot of people don't put all together is that with the family staterooms, so either veranda or ocean view, if they say deluxe family, they can sleep up to 5. That doesn't mean that every single one of them sleeps 5. Some of them sleep 4, some of them sleep 3. It's the
How do you do 5?
amount of space. Do it?
How do you get the 5th?
There's a Murphy bed at the foot of
Folds out of the wall.
that folds out of the wall. So you have the 2 people in the queen size bed.
Yeah.
You have the couch that flips over. You have the one that comes
Yeah.
down from the top, and then there's a Murphy bed.
Another one?
There
Oh my
is.
gosh. I don't think I've ever seen that,
right,
bro.
but those are not in every room.
Correct.
So if you are traveling and you're even if you have 3 people in your deluxe family veranda, a lot of people are going to assume that you have that wall Murphy bed. You cannot assume that that's going to be there.
Yeah.
Because they're wanting, maybe they have grandma traveling with them and they want her to sleep on that instead of on an upper berth. It's not necessarily going to be there. So you
Gotcha.
actually do need to look at or talk to your Dreams Unlimited travel agent and say, this is what we want in our room. Help us find the right category.
Okay, that's
People-
important to know. Yeah.
People also say we want a connecting stateroom. That means it has an inside door that connects the 2 rooms, as opposed to just a room next to each other. If you have a veranda stateroom on most ships, most ships and on most staterooms, the veranda door between the 2 verandas will open up, so you can create a connect that's outside. So sometimes I can't always get folks, like all the connecting staterooms aren't available anymore. But I say to them, oh well, the veranda will open up, and so you'll be able to be out together that way, so you don't have to go out from the room and connect. So
I think I have only ever slept on the fold down bed on a Disney cruise. I'm thinking about it right now
The couch
because
bed?
because I've only really ever been on them with Craig and other people, and the 2 other times I wasn't without Craig, it was like for some reason they needed the bed, and I was like, that's fine. Seniority doesn't matter, I guess. Chloe, have you slept on the top bunk ever?
I've not slept on the top bunk. I slept
That
in
one
the
that
big
comes out of the
bed.
I
ceiling?
slept on the couch bed.
You've
I
slept
slept on the couch bed, but not the top bunk.
No
top
one
bunk.
slept in the top bunk here.
No.
I'm just always curious because it comes out of the ceiling.
the couch bed isn't bad though. It's a nice.
No,
I mean,
it's
it's not
not.
a fold-out couch. I mean, I think
No.
sometimes people think
Yeah.
of the old fold-out couch. This isn't. It actually flips over, and so it's a.
You know why I liked it? Because it made me in control of the television. Because it was like, well, you divide the room to where the TV was, and I was I'm in charge
Was
of the
it
TV
Goofy
now.
Movie every night? That's
Girl.
like my go-to Disney Cruise Line film is Goofy Movie.
You
for some
know it
reason.
was. You know it was. Yeah.
That's good.
Well, Craig forced me to watch Hercules one night too, and I fell
That's
asleep
fine,
again.
too.
Well, I
That's a
never
good
seen
one.
it. It's fine. I mean, it's not when I was a kid, but it's not for me.
Okay.
Not for me. Okay. Well, so are there? How do you know which one to select? Are you guys the type of people who are just like, I don't care? I mean, Chris, you already said you kind of have to be involved in the process of it. So is it like, I'm so thrilled and happy and feel incredibly blessed and fortunate to have been able to get to Alaska. But man, oh man, am I jealous that I had an insight of you, Elaine and Jackie, because Craig and I were on the inside stateroom for that trip.
Right.
And I was just like, I literally this weekend look back at the video I came into your room to shoot one time until my memory card filled up and the battery died on my camera of just the glacier, not the glacier, but the ice while we were going up the inner passage and stuff. And I was just like, I would have done this every day, all day, and I would have hours and hours and hours of video because that's the type of person I am. And so that's the type of cruise where I'd be like, there's a part of me where I would be like, you gotta spring for the veranda.
Right.
But then there's the other part of me where I was like, I mean, I loved the cruise. I could always just get out of my room and gone upstairs.
And that's what a lot of people,
Yep.
particularly with Alaska, they will get those inside rooms because they know that they can save that money because they're going to be up on the top deck anyways.
It's not where they
watching
want to spend. They'd
everything.
rather do a really cool excursion rather
Yeah.
than sitting on when they're going to be outside more. The other thing about Alaska and some of the Baltic and Norway is you have to remember that the sun doesn't set very early.
Mm-hmm.
So the sun, and on some of if you're in there in Alaska in July, the sun's setting at 10, 11 o'clock at night. So yes, they have great blackout drapes, but it can be hard to go to bed at 11 with almost full sun at 11 o'clock at night. So
Yeah.
That came up. I have a guest that just booked a transatlantic, and she said, "Is there a better side starboard or port for transatlantic?"
Oh, because of the sunset. Yeah, interesting.
And I did. So I haven't been on that cruise, so I did a little research, and it's because of the sun. for one, you're going one direction the
Right.
majority of the cruise, and when the sun is on one side of the ship, so the people complained that the veranda was getting so hot, and
a
it was
great point.
heating up their stateroom
Yeah.
for being on that one side. So that's something to think about when you're selecting the side of the ship.
Oh, that is something that would be incredibly
if you're on a
important to me
transatlantic.
because I want to be cold. I want to be, just
Wrapped up
cold,
in a
period.
blankie.
Yeah, I want to be able to be fighting from hypothermia. That's my jam.
Well,
That's
then-
why I loved
then
Alaska.
You want to be on the couch bed in a veranda room on an Alaska
And I'll leave the
cruise.
door open while I sleep,
Because
even though you're not
I
supposed
was
to.
freezing the entire time because of the cold air that was coming in from the veranda. So I had to ask my stateroom attendant for extra blankets, and so she brought me a pile of blankets so I could stay warm at night.
While we're,
And we were there in August, too, which is funny, so it was fine.
while we're
but-
talking about side of ship, we have to mention, of course, that for Castaway Key, if you want, I try and get my clients on the starboard side of the ship. The ship actually backs in, the aft of the ship is, and so then when you wake up and you open up your blinds, you get an amazing view of Castaway Key, the whole family beach. It's lovely. The other side is fine. If you're on the port side, you're not going to have a terrible cruise, really. But that view is amazing. So if I can, I get them on that starboard side. It's doesn't really, so far, we can't tell that it makes a difference on Lookout Key. But on Castaway, it does make a difference. So I try and get folks on that starboard side.
Chloe, you got a favorite part of the ship?
I tend to go for mid, but I honestly,
Is it because it's, like you said, it's closer to the activities that you want to do?
yeah, especially like I've said before, Dream and Fantasy are my favorite ships, and they have the midship elevators that I feel like I frequent the most often, rather than going to either end. And back when I was beginning my Disney cruise ventures, I believed that you felt less swaying midship on those bigger ships, but I can't really tell the difference personally. I'm not that sensitive to it though, so.
I wear C-bands and take Dramamine
Yeah,
every day.
I'm at the point I don't care.
You don't
I
get
really
the
don't care.
patches?
No, I'm gonna try those next time, I think, because that's the thing. I didn't have health insurance for a while. So
Chloe brought up the elevators, and I want to debunk a myth.
yes, please. I
I
feel like we should
like
add
to
extra
be
music
close
for you.
to the elevators. And so naturally, if my clients don't direct me where to put them, I will put them close to the elevators. I won't put them in the bay looking at the elevator if it's possible, but I'll put them a couple doors down. And they all come back and
3
they
doors
say,
down
no,
if you want."
move me, move me.
Too loud.
It's too loud. It's too loud. We don't want all that noise. On a Disney ship, you don't hear it.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna.
don't hear the people from the elevators. On a
My
Disney
And that's
experience.
particularly true on the Wish.
Yeah.
My experience was that those rooms are immensely insulated.
Yeah.
And so I usually don't on the Dream and Fantasy. I don't put people on deck 10 because you will hear the pitter patter of little feet early in the morning as kids, or moving deck furniture because you're right below the pool
yeah.
deck. So I usually, the highest I'll put them up is deck 9. And particularly if you have young kids who may be going to nap in the middle of the day, you really don't want the deck chair sounds.
Or
I was on the Wish, and I was just below the pool deck, and I did not hear a thing. It was amazingly quiet. So each ship is a little different, and as you've been on the different ones, you notice different things, and so.
yeah, you definitely have to look at what ship you're on, because the layouts are different for each of the classes of the ships, and the actual rooms themselves can be different. I want to jump back, and then I'm going to jump back to this. On the Wish, I found kind of a really great area. There's only a couple of rooms there, but
Wait, don't ruin it.
I know, I hate to say this,
Yeah.
but deck 11 forward
Okay.
on the Wish, it's veranda staterooms, but that puts you right by all of the food, and right out the door from the drink refill stations, the pools, all of the food, like it's right there. So if you're somebody that likes to be, you're going to spend all your time on the pool deck, having that room right there is so easy to go back to your room, or just go fill your drink, get a snack, bring it back to your room, that kind of thing, is that forward on deck.
The rooms on the Wish that have proven to be very popular are what they call the bump outs. There are 2 bump outs on the that where you get a little bit larger balcony, and I get more clients saying, "I want the extra space in my balcony." So those ones have tended to go very quickly. So.
Listen, you just spoke
The
my
actual
language.
bump
I
out.
want to be near the food.
The actual bump, I've sailed on one. It's very you're not going to notice it. It's very
that's what
negligible.
I tell
so
people.
it's
You're
like-
not going to notice a difference.
It's
but
not
Internet
like
sleuths
the
that are
very
like-
back of the ship where you have the 4E
Correct.
giant ones where you actually can have chased lounge chairs and that
Oh.
kind of thing. Because they have like the giant balconies
Yeah,
off the back
huge.
of the ship on 4Es.
The other thing that I often warn people about, and it's not as true on, it won't be as true on the Wish and the Treasure and the new ships coming because they're liquid natural gas. But the older ships that still do diesel is sometimes on the aft, you'll get some soot that will float and come on those
I was gonna
those
ask about
back
smell,
staterooms.
but yeah.
You can get a little
That mechanical smell almost.
Correct.
I don't know, but yeah.
So they're not my favorite staterooms anyway. But if people want them, I'll put you. People have requests, and I do get clients who have specific rooms that they want. So I. And back to which rooms I would choose.
Yeah.
I always choose rooms. I'm not good at remembering numbers. And so I generally won't remember my stateroom number until the last day of the cruise. So I look for stateroom numbers that are easy to remember,
Yeah.
like 9660 or 55, something like that.
Yeah, I'm the type of person who would get lost on the ship, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
I just
like,
never
Which is why
and
I
you're
wanna be
given
by
your
the
number.
elevator.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy. You get off the elevator. I know my room is by the midship elevator. You get off the elevator, your room is right there.
yeah.
Rather than going down endless hallways.
Yeah,
with your kids
'cause I've
that are
done that.
tired and wet
Yeah.
and screaming.
Trying to
and
find
it's
your
just
2
like,
magnets on
room's
the
right
door.
there. So convenient. Can we talk about ocean view rooms?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because this one is very confusing to many people.
Because it sounds like you're going to have a veranda because you're like, well, I can open the door and look into the ocean, right?
You think you would look at the ocean in an ocean view room, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's not now.
Not necessarily.
Oh, interesting.
And on all of the classes of ships, they're very different as far as the ocean view rooms. So a lot of people will ask me for a midship ocean view room. That is not a thing unless you are willing to sell on deck 1 or deck 2.
Correct.
You cannot have a midship ocean view room. The hired rooms are only verandas or inside. You're not going to have a midship ocean view room when you're on like the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 decks.
yeah.
It's only deck 1 and 2.
Is that because of the proximity to the water? I don't know. You don't have to tell me.
Because they want to be more
keep
people on
those-
verandas.
More
Okay.
people want
But
verandas.
here's the thing.
Yeah. Well, I assume they're going to sell
Right.
the more expensive room
And
more.
all of those midship ocean rooms are, when you think of ocean view, on deck 2, it's the giant porthole window.
Yeah.
But on deck 1, it's 2 little windows.
Mm.
As well as I had one time where I booked one of these ocean view guarantee rooms that you are guaranteed to get a room categorized as ocean view, but you don't get to pick your location or anything like that. I was given a corner room on the Dream on the very front on deck 6, so it was like pie-shaped room, and it had a very small window and one corner on the ceiling that was a ship rigging view. No actual ocean to be seen,
Wow.
but
That is wild.
it was a huge stateroom. So
Yeah.
I went ahead with it because
Yeah.
it was a huge stateroom. And then we also had the room right next door, which is forward facing and very skinny, which it was a little bit bigger, but theirs was also on a slanted wall and it just looked at the sky. So it
That's
was like
so
a skylight.
weird. Yeah.
Sky view.
So that's what
Sky
I'm
view.
saying.
There are these
Like,
weird rooms
anytime
on.
I get a request through our Dreams Unlimited travel system and they say they want ocean view, 9 times out of 10, well, the category that they select is not actually what they really want.
Yeah.
And we have to like talk about it. And
Yep.
I say, okay, this is what you selected. This is what the room actually is. Were you wanting this kind of room?
Yeah.
We also
So-
get that with veranda staterooms because the least expensive veranda stateroom is what's called with a navigator's veranda. This is essentially it has a portal but it's open to outside. So it's not a full, I would call it a partially obstructed. If
I
you
call
look
it an enclosed veranda.
an
what-
enclosed
how I
veranda with a portal.
try to describe it to
Oh,
people.
interesting.
I always send people photos of them because it's difficult to understand unless it's one of those situations, 1,000 words, a picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I send them pictures of what they look like so they have a clue as to what they're getting into. And some people love them. Some people like these different kinds of staterooms. And if that's what you want, awesome, let's do it. But I just want you to know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And also, when you're looking at the starting from pricing on the Disney Cruise Line site, remember that the starting from, particularly for Veranda and Ocean View, is going to be the least expensive in that category. So that's probably going to be a partially obstructed veranda stateroom in some way, shape, or form, or the sliver of a portal window. So just keep those things in mind when you're looking at pricing.
This was all very important information that is new to me, and I do find the terminology to be challenging and intimidating. So I do appreciate you having this conversation, and I hope that we help some people out there. And if they have any more questions about cruising or interested in going over and potentially booking any of these staterooms with you, how would they go about doing that, Elaine?
So my email is Elaine, ELAINE, @dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
How about you, Chris?
I'm Chris V, CHRIS V is in Vorabek, Chris V @dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
Well, and there you have it. Well, thank you, everybody, for having this conversation. Chloe and I will look at your YouTube comments, so that's what we'll do for you. Or direct you to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, where you can learn more. Thank you, everyone, for this conversation. Thank you, everyone out there. If you are watching this on YouTube, please leave us some comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you are listening, please feel free to rate and review the podcast whenever you have a chance. We always appreciate your feedback. And don't forget about Dreams Unlimited Travel, again, when booking that next Disney Cruise Line vacation. That's going to do it for us. Bon voyage, everyone.